This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Boom today, all you sports fans out there. This is the OMSR. Welcome to your brief but very concise host, Will the Alternative ESPN Sports Pro. Limited space here on the OMSR set. Alright, briefly and concisely so you know the highlights coming up here. It's not 10 minutes of me. Might have to split this up into two parts. This is what I do. Talking, the two teams on the outside looking in. So with regard to Georgia and Ohio State. I will just say briefly with regards to Georgia, there's still a whole heck of a lot of SEC love going on out there. And this is a little bit of a slight. No offense, Texas, in my view. It should have been Georgia UCF. It's not on the level of that travesty of all travesties of the BCS. What happened to Kansas State? No one's really talking about that with Coach Bill Snyder's retirement. You'll hear that a couple times here on the OMSR, but you'll hear from Kirby Smart, and you can just hear and see he handled it as well as he could. I submit maybe he could have done a little better of a job. The disdain he felt for this process. We have the makings of an epic Rose Bowl coming on. Obviously, yours truly is a UW booster, but I have a lot of respect for Urban Meyer, who coached at my alma mater. Kept the one coach he kept from the old staff, my former walk-on coach, Kyle Whittingham. Good decision there. And so suddenly, given the decision, or rather the news, both that broke today, this has turned out to be like the game. Maybe even more so than the CFP. Call me crazy, but you couldn't write this into a script. The potential producers would look at it and go, it's too contrived, it's too convenient, it's not believable. It's amazing, you all would agree, how sports sometimes can turn out that way. And I know of what I speak. My significant other is a big wig at SAG, wrote a few scripts, and so what's called a contrivance that shows up throughout in a screenplay, those don't get greenlit. And yet somehow we have the number one winningest coach active versus number two winningest coach active. For all of Jake Browning's struggles this year, he's the winningest QB in Pac-12 history. Dwayne Haskins just had the best single season in Big Ten history. Are you freaking kidding us? Awesome. Wish Coach Urban Meyer well. This is going to be the best single game to watch, I submit to you. All right, thanks for watching. No silly DUIs while you're out there.
Ohio State, as far as they're concerned, their season storylines, because of course the Buckeyes are trying to crash the party, and it certainly was tumultuous. They started out 7-0. They had the second best point differential in the nation behind only Alabama. But then that devastating loss, they lost by 29 points at Purdue. Third largest loss by a top two team to an unranked team in the history of the AP poll. But they did finish the regular season strong, winning the next four games and one of the games of the year. Where they thumped arch rival Michigan 62-39 as once again Urban Meyer gets the better of Jim Harbaugh. So they defeat Northwestern in the Big Ten championship. And this means that now they move on to the Rose Bowl. Lots of excitement here, right? This is going to be a fun game.
Dude, Rose Bowl's awesome. I mean, we've gone there for game day the last couple. I didn't know growing up how good that was, but that's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, Washington versus Ohio State. First Rose Bowl appearance for UW. Ohio State, 15th Rose Bowl appearance. We'll talk more about the matchup in just a second. Urban Meyer, Dwayne Haskins, all the rest of it. But here is Coach Meyer with the Marty Party.
Well, I've never been to the Rose Bowl. That's one of the few bowls that never experienced. I grew up 2 hours from here, and I watched Woody Hayes and Archie Griffin and the Buckeyes play the Southern Cal in the old Rose Bowl. So it was, a bucket list thing. And Kirk Herbstreit and I actually talk about the Rose Bowl every year. That's his favorite bowl game. So we're honored to represent, first of all, win the Big Ten back-to-back, and then go represent our conference in the Rose Bowl. So it's all good.
How do you describe this team's journey in 2018, start to finish?
I think resilience. I even sent a text out, a group text this morning. Resilience, toughness, and they love each other. It's you hear that, and it might sound like coach speak, because sometimes it is. Every team's different, and there's one way to find out what those guys have done here the last few weeks is, I'll never forget that, and I don't think Buckeye Nation will ever forget it.
Definitely was quite the roller coaster for the Buckeyes. But you talk about statement games, JV, and certainly that win against Michigan stands out. And now, what do you think Urban Meyer's approach is to his team? Hey, we didn't make the playoff. We still won the Big Ten championship. We had that huge win against the Wolverines. Let's go out to the Rose Bowl, a place that he himself is not familiar with, and let's make a statement here.
Yeah, focus on the positive. The positive is that the last 2 games, you look like a dominant team. What we all expected, we're hoping for during the season, just didn't perform or play out that way. So when you talk about the defense, we already know Haskins is awesome. Haskins is phenomenal.
Yep.
But we talk about the defense helping out Dwayne Haskins. We see here on the easy pass, and you see his accuracy when he rolls out in motion, because Haskins can get you easily 500 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Right.
We know that.
Right.
We just need the defense to help him out and get the easy victory against Washington.
Having said that, Washington's defense is pretty good.
Really good. Really good. Really good. And what's amazing that we're having this conversation just 13 starts into Dwayne Haskins' career, and he's going to be playing against an NFL team, and this might be his final game in the Buckeye uniform. This is a heck of a way to go out, too, because if you light it up against Michigan, the #1 ranked team in the country, and he did, light it up against Northwestern, who's extremely well coached on the defense side of the football, and cap your season with a win and a dominant passing performance against this group,
Yeah.
that is one unbelievable statement to NFL scouts as they evaluate whether or not
the good thing to mention is that it's really, we talk about Washington's D, it's their secondary.
Yeah,
in particular,
really good.
They're really good in the secondary. Taylor Rapp is phenomenal.
#1 in the
Yeah,
conference.
and obviously the strength of the Buckeyes out wide is their strength of their offense. Urban Meyer looked good.
No,
Didn't he? Like, it's amazing what a win against Michigan was good.
no one mentioned
Big Ten championship game.
in the voiceover
Look, it's
for
exacerbated.
around
It looks,
the intro.
the color comes back. Now
Go Jake Browning struggled. How the heck he got to be winning this? Because this year was disappointing. The Auburn game, couldn't run the options. Like, oh my goodness, you're a senior. What's wrong with you?
Thinking like, I get to go to the Rose Bowl. I've never been there. He talked about that earlier. He's never been there.
He's in for a
He's never had to
treat.
play Alabama.
If UW can't run, the offense will, or defense will eventually break down.
You know, kind of off. He's kind of got everybody off his back. So it'll be interesting to see if this is his last game, because there's been a lot of chatter about that. And he looked beat. He looked exhausted. His health looked like it was taking a toll. Obviously, the accounts of his health has been widely spread. But it will be interesting to see how this goes, and if this is the Rose Bowl, and if Urban Meyer's gone, because I think that could happen.
Yeah, and UW's offense has been inconsistent. Jake Browning wants to have a strong game on Ohio State's defense. They've been
You're very kind.
big places as well. Inconsistent, nice way of putting it. I'm trying to sell the game.